Place 59.
Well, the league is.
We stand and do a pledge of allegiance to get started.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for coming. I'm Frank Kulik, President of the Council. I want to recognize some people we have here tonight. Representative Kozarowski. Senator Blake is hopefully on his way. Chris Kapp, the Executive Director of the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs. Thomas Caffrey, Director, Northeast Regional Office of the Governors of Pennsylvania. Caitlin English from the county. Of course, Mayor Fuga. We have council members here. Kristen Doherty. Jennifer Connor. Sydney Stevens. Joanne Wilson. Still. Our former mayor, Bruce Smallacombe, who's also chairman of the 150 committee. I think I covered everybody. Our borough manager. Again, thank you for coming out tonight to kick off the 150th anniversary celebration of Jermyn Borough. Jermyn, like most towns, has gone through many changes over the years. This celebration of 150 years will probably pale in comparison to the celebration that took place in 1970 for the 100-year anniversary. I think that's a direct result of the changing landscape of our small towns. The senator has arrived. Senator John Blake.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Representative, how are you?
Well, 150th birthday here.
I was just a youngster when you started using candle. Did you bring any? Walked into that sooner.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'll start over.
Yes.
Again, thank you all for coming.
Welcome, Senator Blake.
Thank you, Senator Blake. And as I started, I said Jermyn, like most towns, has gone through many changes over the years. This celebration of 150 years will probably pale in comparison to the celebration that took place in 1970 for the 100-year anniversary. I think that's a direct result of the changing landscape of our small towns. I remember growing up on the east side of town in the 50s. The 7 a.m. starting whistle at Dearborn Glass would awaken me every morning. Walk over town to the grade school, the same school my parents attended, and later spend my high school days right here in this building, same school my parents graduated from in 1943 and 45. My grandparents on both sides raised their families here. On my mom's side of the family, over the lane, 2 doors up from Butler's. Grandpa Levito used to walk down for a shot every day. My dad's side up on Garfield Avenue, just 3 doors down from where I live today, at my lovely wife's home. Jermyn was a great place to grow up. Ball fields, playgrounds, candy stores, Matthijs Dairy, Grace Collins Ice Cream Shop, and yes, the 9 p.m. get your butt home siren. Interestingly enough, the population of Jermyn back then was in excess of 3,000 people, the highest point ever. Yet everyone knew everyone. That carried over into 1970, which is why the 100-year celebration was such a huge event and success. 2020 is much different. Population is down to about 2,200. Everyone no longer knows everyone else. candy stores, the dairy, the ice cream shop, all gone. However, there's still a strong sense of community and a desire to bring back the comfort and excitement of a closely knit small town. I am hopeful that this 150th celebration, while paying homage to the past, can act as a springboard to the future and a resurrection of real small town spirit. Thank you. With that, I'd like to introduce the mayor.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'd like to welcome our guests here in attendance tonight for coming out and celebrating with us a very special date as our borough turns 150 years old. The borough that now is home to a little over 2,100 people once hosted glassworks, powder mills, grist mills, and of course coal mines. Has changed a lot over the years. While we celebrate our history, we are also looking forward to the future. We are a borough that does a lot with a little, always trying to make it a better place for our residents and most importantly, our children. So tonight, let's celebrate our first 150 years and let's look forward to what the next 150 years has in store for Jermyn Borough. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm the chairman of the Sesquicentennial Committee and our president of our Historical Society, so I've been asked to speak. And I wrote a speech. I've never read one yet that I wrote, so I might as well not do it now. 150 years. 1870. 5 years after the Civil War. Our president was USS Grant. Can you just imagine that? It's only 5 years removed from the Civil War. When we were part of Northumberland County at one time. We were part of Blakely Township when Blakely became a township in 1818. Then we became part of Luzerne County in 1860, whatever they became the county, Luzerne County. We were part of Luzerne County. We started out as an Indian path through the woods. This was part of the settlement given in 1620 to the Connecticut people. In 1681, the same land was given to William Penn and the Pennsylvania people. So this land we live in was ruled by both the Connecticut's and the Yankees, which were the Yankees were the Connecticut's, and the Pennamites, the Pennsylvanians. And that result was the Pennamite Wars. And this was called part of the Wyoming Valley. Back then, everything from here down was called the Wyoming Valley. Our first settlement came here after the settlements in Carbondale. Carbondale was formed and founded because of coal. There was people settling there in 1804, and then in 1814, the Wirtz brothers out of Philadelphia found coal up there. And they decided they're going to settle that and start learning how to ship coal. 1826 to 28, they built the gravity railroads. The gravity railroads carried the coal from Carbondale to Honesdale and then down into Philadelphia and into New York City. We became part of that gravity railroad later on because we didn't start mining here until 1857. Jermyn originally was called Wilbur Farm. There was a small farm here, and the family's name was Wilbur, and that was all it was here. They just called it Wilbur Farm. It became 4 Mile Point because it was 4 miles from Carbondale, 4 miles from Blakely. So it was a juncture from each direction, from the township of Blakely, which was forming as a community, and the Carbondale. There were no churches here until 1870. There was very little. There was 300 people, maybe, at that time, just prior to our centennial, our incorporation. After 4 Mile Point name, the name of Jermyn became Baconville. Family named Bacon bought some land here and farmed it, and it was from where Kennedy's beer distributor is. It's the Beer Man now. That was where the house was for the original farm. It extended from Bacon Street to Gibson Street and up to the mountains up in West Mountain, which is the mountain on this side. So the name was just given to the place as Baconville. Then, after the Bacon family, it started to expand. The town became more of a town than a farm, and the farm sort of just died out and disappeared. They needed another name for the place, and they named it Rushdale after the Rush Brook Creek, which they called the Rushing Brook Creek at the time. So we took on the name Rushdale. Rushdale was here in the 1840s, 1850s, up to the early parts of the 1860s. In 1857, like I said, they sunk the first shaft to dig coal out of Jermyn. And a man from Philadelphia named John Gibson bought the land, mostly over East Jermyn, and that's where the mines were, and he ran the mines, so they named the town Gibsonburg. When we were incorporated in 1870, we were still Gibsonburg. So we were incorporated as the town of Gibsonburg, not Jermyn. We became Jermyn in 1874, and that was John Jermyn bought the mines from John Gibson in 1862. They kept the name Gibsonburg all that time, but because John Jermyn pulled 171,000 tons of coal in a year out of Jermyn and made Jermyn so prosperous, they put a railroad station here, and on it they wanted to put Jermyn Railroad Station, named after John Jermyn. So they did. And then the town, I guess, powers to be at the time, the people, the citizens of town, decided to rename the town Jermyn. The first elections were held in Jermyn in 1870, and the first people took office. John Jermyn was a big part of it. Dr. Matthew Shields was a big part of it. Our history was very rich in the first aid movement. We have a centennial for the first aid movement that was also here in Jermyn. We've had livery stables, and we had silk mills, and we had lace works, and we had glass companies, and we had all kinds of meat markets and corner stores. These books that we have out here, you'll see one is stores and one is the centennial. You'll get a chance to look through that. But early on, and I brought some props so that you could see, early on there were some murders in Jermyn as well. And this is the way they dressed early on, and they carried guns. And that's the way Jermyn was back in the day. We have a record of a murder in the 1870s where a guy came out of a bar and said, "I'm going to kill me a Welshman before the night's over," and he picked a fight, and the Welshman killed him. And he went to trial. So that was part of our history. That was part of our history. And then Jermyn became prosperous, and everybody wore top hats. And everybody was businessmen. We had one of the largest business districts in Lackawanna County, which wasn't Lackawanna, it was Luzerne. Jermyn was one of the most prosperous towns in the valley. Frank said there was a population of 3,000. At one point before that, I think it was 4,000. Back in the early 30s and 40s, when the mines were booming. In the 50s, the mines, in the 1950s, the mines started to slow down. But the mines brought all of the work here. People came from Wales, England, Ireland. There were all kinds of immigrants that came here to work in the mines. Now I wrote up in my notes a couple things, so I wanted to make sure I hit on them because I don't want to take too much time. And I talked about the Indian paths, but I want to mention some of the families, and I don't have a complete list. This was just off the top of my head because I wrote this all down about an hour before I come over here. And there were names here that are still here. They were here 150 years ago. And some of them are the Battenberg family, the Avery family, the Hosey family, the Mullalleys. The Mullalleys are the oldest family still living in the same house. Probably the only family in Jermyn that still lives in the same house that they lived in 1870. The Barber family, the Ayers family, the Cole family, one of the Cole still works up at Bednash's, the Bell family, the Jones family, the Roberts family, the Vanderfords, the Wilsons, the Farrells, the Lockneys, and the Smolicombs. 1870 we came over here. So we've had 6 generations of Smolicombs living in Jermyn now. Hunter is the youngest. My great-grandfather Henry was here in 1870. My grandfather was born here in 1898. And then my father was born here, I was born here, and my 2 boys were born here. So there's a lot more families, I'm sure, that'll come forward. And if you hear of any, if anybody can let us know, we want to do a complete record of all the families that are still here 150 years after they first settled here. Let's see if there's anything I want to touch on because I don't want to spend a lot of time here. Other than that, no, I think the history of, there's a lot to explain, and I'd be here for hours and hours and hours talking about history of Jermyn. And you'll see some Indian arrowheads here. There are Indian artifacts here that were here in Jermyn, Chapman Lake, up on in the ledges up above our town here. Indians walked through here. Settlers came here and trapped beaver. They hunted moose and elk, and panthers were here. This was a big wooded area, and it was never settled. There were cabins here, but no houses. The first actual wooden house was built in Carbondale in 1828, I believe. I think the guy's name was Groff that built the first wooden house in this upper area. This bottle on the right and this bottle on the left are actual bottles. They're not replicas. They're actual bottles. That's what they would drink their gin out of, or mineral water. And this would be, of course, a whiskey bottle. They use it for what they used to call their little brown jug. The glass in the back is part of Dearborn glass, which wasn't here in 1870. We had 2 glass works. We had the Laurel cut glass, and we had the Dearborn Glass Company. Our centennial book is here, and this is our anniversary book from the centennial. And then this book here has all of the artifacts from when we had the centennial. Walter Avery's father, Charles Avery, was the committee chairman from the centennial. Cindy Stevens' mother was on the committee. There was quite a few other people in town that were involved with our centennial. And like Frank said, this centennial is not going to be anywhere near as big because the families back then were families. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody was related somehow, some way to somebody else down the road. If you got in trouble, your parents knew it before you got home. And it was a nice, tight-knit community. And it could be again, but a lot of the families have moved out. So hopefully that we can revive some of that. We're going to have a community dinner on the 25th of April. Tickets will be out shortly for that. And we hope to have a good turnout for that. And then in September, the second week of September, we're going to have a large picnic and a parade over at the Artesian Height Hose Company. And we're looking for vendors. If anybody wants to come over and sell anything, we're looking for people to volunteer to help us. We're going to have SNS Amusements will be there, at least 10 rides, they said, so it'll be a pretty good celebration. The Historical Society is going to do a walking tour of Main Street at some time during the summer and explain to you what businesses were here, where they were compared to where they are now. We'll go back as far as we can in records, and we have over 80 albums at our Historical Society that have all of the businesses of Jermyn all the way in the past, as far back as we can. So we have records of where everything was. We're also going to do a bus tour. Like we're going to, hopefully the Lackawanna County will help us with their trolley. And if we get their trolley, we can have the trolley take people to the churches. We're going to do a church tour. There were 7 churches in Jermyn. 2 of them do not exist anymore, but we still have 5 that we can tour, and we're going to also go to the other 2 churches. The Historical Society just purchased one of the churches. It was a house later on, but it was a church in 1884. It was the Welsh Congregational Church. So we're trying to restore that, so we will give you at least a look at the building. I don't know if you'll get to tour it because it's in pretty rough shape until we can clean it up and get some work done. But by the summer, we might have it to where we can do a tour of it as well. We're looking for volunteers to come out and help us on committees. Anybody who wants to help, anybody has any ideas for anything, we want to do some things for the kids. We're going to have a concert in the park, and hopefully maybe some fireworks at the concert in the park this year. We've come up with a few other ideas that we can put together. We want to make sure we have something for the children in town, and basically that's it. We're going to have the parade, and we want to have as many people participating in the parade as possible. We already have some floats guaranteed that they're going to be here, and hopefully we'll have some good marching bands and a lot of the fire trucks as well. But it's going to be a little bit of a celebration, and we'd like to do more. Whatever ideas come up, we'll be glad to take them. And with that, thank you very much for having me here. I thank them for inviting me and letting me be part of this. Thank you.
Earlier last year, I had sent out many invitations for tonight's ceremony because we knew it was going to be our 150th birthday. So we asked Representative Kozarowski, Senator Blake, Chris from the PSAB. We invited Governor Wolf. He sent one of his best representatives as well. We invited the county commissioners. The county commissioners will be reorganizing this Monday evening. So we have 2 outgoing county commissioners, 2 incoming county commissioners. The commissioners weren't able to join us tonight, but they did send a proclamation, which I would like to read to everyone right now. It's from the County Commissioners of Lackawanna County, Pennsylvania. Proclamation. Whereas on January 28, 1870, the borough of Jermyn, Lackawanna County, Pennsylvania was incorporated. Today we honor the borough and its residents, past and present, as it celebrates its sesquicentennial 150th anniversary. Whereas settlers began to lay claim to present-day Jermyn in the 1820s and 1830s. Jermyn was originally known as 4 Mile Town because of its close proximity to the town of Carbondale. The village was later known as Rushdale and Baconville before becoming Gibsonburg in 1868. It was at that time townspeople petitioned Luzerne County to be incorporated as a borough. Whereas originally named after Judge William Gibson of Philadelphia, a wealthy and extensive landowner in the settlement, the borough's name changed when Judge Gibson sold his lands, and residents requested the town be renamed after its first burgess, John Jermyn. On January 19, 1874, Luzerne County confirmed the request and recognized the borough as Jermyn. Whereas recognized as the birthplace of first aid in America, Jermyn was a productive anthracite coal field in 1900 and grew into a community of mines, mills, and factories. Part of the Lakeland School District, Jermyn has approximately 2,100 residents. Now, therefore, we, Patrick M. O'Malley, Jerry Notariani, and Laureen A. Cummings, Commissioners of the County of Lackawanna, Pennsylvania, do hereby acknowledge and proclaim January 3rd, 2020 as Jermyn Sesquicentennial Day in Lackawanna County. In witness thereof, we have hereto set our hand and caused the seal of the Commissioners of Lackawanna County to be affixed this 3rd day of January 2020. Now it's my honor to introduce to you Representative Bridget Kazarowski.
Good evening, everyone. I am new at this, so I definitely still write speeches, unlike your former mayor, Bruce Smallcombe, and his wealth of knowledge. That was really interesting to be able to listen to. I should have called him instead of searching the history of Jermyn. But the one thing I did read, and I was really interested in, is that I did not know that Jermyn was the birthplace of first aid, with Dr. Shields and the story of the coal miners and how they didn't have any, obviously injured, and they didn't have aid kind of kits like they would be able to use in today. So as a former nurse, that made me very proud. And the surviving the run-ins with the Molly Maguires. And my maiden name is Malloy, so I'm Bridget Malloy, so I'm really Irish, and I'm a nurse, so the first aid and the Molly Maguires was very interesting to me and exciting to read about Jermyn. And I am your new state representative, so it's an honor for me to be here tonight and to promote the history of the borough. And I was proud to introduce my first resolution, Resolution 609, honoring January 4th, 2020, as the 150th anniversary of the Jermyn borough. And I also have one of those whereas proclamations here, but I do want to read one paragraph because it is something that's really important, and it's from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and my colleagues in the House of Representatives. Now, therefore, the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania pay tribute to the borough of Jermyn upon the momentous occasion of its 150th anniversary. The state that its wealth of contributions over the years is as vital facet of this Commonwealth's rich history. Extend sincere best wishes for the continuation of its most worthy endeavors in the years to come. And as I walked in here this evening, for this 150th anniversary, that the kids were in the gym playing basketball. So it's a good sign of continuance, and families still here and doing those kind of things that are important to celebrate these kind of, certainly in this building. So congratulations to everyone. I look forward to the walking tour. I'd like to do that and see some of the great places here in Jermyn. So congratulations to everyone. Thanks.
Thank you.
There you go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be with you on this very momentous occasion of the 150th birthday anniversary of Jermyn Borough. I think it's important, and I will go through a citation that's in the former records of the Pennsylvania State Senate. But I want to thank Mayor Fuga, I want to thank Frank and members of council for the invitation to be part of this celebration. I have a few anecdotes about my connection to Jermyn. First of all, my dad had Welsh in him, so that's a little bit of an ethnic connection to the community. And I so much enjoyed your former Mayor Bruce Smallcombe's reflection and retrospective on the history of Jermyn. It's such a proud and important legacy that, especially on this day, needs to be repeated so people have that connection to the past. But my sister Peggy lives in Jermyn. She used to live on Bacon Street, but now lives on Garfield. I used to play hoops in the St. Michael's building over there. Now they're catering there. My mom actually took me to the church. It was Russian Orthodox, right? I guess St. Michael's. So be attentive, right? So that's a memory as a child because my mom had Russian on her side of the family. But I also I live over the lane. Right? So Butler's has the best pizza in town. My son will come in from Boston. He will drive all the way from Boston. He will come in, he'll say hello to his mom, give her a kiss, and then he goes right to the Windsor for Wings. In 1985, which is the year my wife and I got married, the Windsor was designated the second best in the country, right? So, or in the world. But I do enjoy this connection with the community. I was glad to be here when we dedicated the new basketball court, because that's again an asset for this community and for the kids that is going to continue to pay a lot of dividends. Like my friend and colleague in the House, Representative Kozarowski, we have the opportunity on these occasions to do citations from the Senator of the House, and I think it's important for you to know that these citations, while they seem ceremonial, they actually become part of the permanent record of the Journal of both chambers. So if 25 years from now someone's doing some research in the Senator and the House, they're going to find out about tonight. And because I don't have my reader glasses, my staff blew up the words so I can actually read them. I do want to read this though, because it's important. Whereas the Senate of Pennsylvania is always pleased to recognize those esteemed communities which, through the observance of significant events in their history, contribute to preserving the continuity of Pennsylvania's great heritage. And whereas the borough of Jermyn is celebrating the momentous occasion of its 150th anniversary. And whereas established and incorporated in January 1870, Jermyn Borough, originally again known as Gibbonsburg, later renamed after John Jermyn, the borough's first mayor and business person in the coal mining industry, in January 19, 1874. The borough was located in Lackawanna County, near the Lackawanna River. In the 20th century, Jermyn Borough consisted of coal mines, glass and bottling works, fertilizing factories, and silk, powder, grist, planting, and sawmills. Landed as the birthplace of first state in America, the borough conducted the first training class on October 25, 1899, to 25 individuals. This led to decreases in injuries on the job and the creation of workplace safety laws all throughout the country. Throughout its rich history, Jermyn Borough has been blessed with dedicated civic leaders who have helped it to grow and flourish, as well as diligent and productive citizens who have helped it become an inspiring presence in this Commonwealth. Now, therefore, the Senate of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania heartily congratulates the Borough of Jermyn on the momentous and joyous occasion of its 150th anniversary, offers best wishes for continued growth and prosperity in the years to come, and a copy of this document, sponsored by me, is transmitted to the borough here on Jefferson Avenue in Jermyn. So I just want to congratulate the civic leaders here for their planning, for their understanding of history and their respect for the story of this town. Really special people live and work here, and who take great pride in this community, and I am always glad to be with you because of that. So congratulations to all of you. Enjoy this celebration, and God bless you. And Happy New Year to everyone.
Well, first impressions are everything. I just celebrated 24 years of marriage to my beautiful wife, Valerie. And, you know, frankly, she's allowed me for the last 18 years to go out and do these types of presentations. And sometimes I go out for a dinner. And, you know, it's exceptional because my wife doesn't have to cook for me. But today, it's just an honor to be here. For 18 years, I've been at so many types of celebrations like this. And you come in here, my parents just celebrated 50 years of marriage. 50 years of marriage. And I asked my father, I said, what made my mother? And he said, first impressions. And I've been in so many communities over the last 18 years. And frankly, this place makes just a special first impression. The lights are warm, the civic mindedness of this audience here. Kids playing basketball. I coach 7th and 8th grade basketball back home. We're canceled today. I was more than happy to be out here today. Thank you very much for the invitation. But the Boroughs Association really believes in strong communities. Since 1911, we've stood for that. Civics is really strained in our country right now. And I look at this borough and what it has to offer. And that summary and that promotion of your celebration upcoming was just exceptional. And I just want to commend all of you. It takes a village, as they say. It takes strong leadership. Around the state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we just had municipal elections. You have a lot of new blood coming in on councils. You have new mayors. At the same time, I just think it's an important time to support your leaders and work with them actively. Right now, you have a lot of young people not really connecting to their community as well as they did 50 years ago. Well said, Mr. President. Years ago, people knew each other by first name. And I think that's something that's evaporating right now. And I think it's something we need to embrace quickly before it's gone forever. I have 3 kids. I just sent my first to college. She's 19, going on 25. But you know, frankly, my 13-year-old and you know, my 15-year-old son really have a strong interest in civics, and it's something we don't teach in the schools anymore. And the historical perspective, it really matters. You have to know where you came from before you know where you want to go in the future. And I can't say that enough. But PSAB, we're just so proud to support our communities. We represent 956 boroughs across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And back in 1911, our founder, Mr. Thomas Crossway, wanted to aggregate the interests of boroughs across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania so they would have their voice heard as one group, as compared to going unilaterally to where they could be heard in DC and in Harrisburg, and to educate and share best management practices with our membership around the state. And that's what we're doing today. So, Mr. President, Mayor, if you could come up here so I can present the citation to you. Now, I will not compete with Senator Blake because this is a little more abbreviated, Senator. Our certificate of recognition, PSAB, honors Jermyn Borough on the occasion of the 150th anniversary as a borough of the County of Lackawanna, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. PSB extends best wishes for continued success and a prosperous future. January 2020, signed by myself, Chris Kapp, Executive Director, and Thomas Gramling, who serves as our president this year. He is from Cambria County, Westmont Borough. We rotate east and west each year at our annual conference. So, Mr. President, Mayor, congratulations and thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. I know I think might be the last person holding everyone between cakes, so I will be brief. But I just want to say thank you for having me this evening. My name is Thomas Caffrey. I have the honor of serving as Governor Wolf's Northeast Regional Director. I'm a native of Northeastern Pennsylvania, so I know firsthand from growing up how important our towns and our cities are here in the Northeast. It is a real testament to you all in this room and for the past 150 years, the great work that's been going on. So if you would let me, I have a letter from the governor who sends his regrets tonight but wanted to share in the celebration of this evening. Greetings. I am delighted to welcome everyone gathered to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Jermyn Borough. Pennsylvania's towns and communities have played a vital role in the history and economic development of the Commonwealth. The rich history of Jermyn is one of innovation, resilience, and resolve. From the tenacity of its first settlers, its industrialists, and its coal miners, to today's embodiments of the ideals of family and friendship, this borough and its people have made a lasting impact on our Commonwealth. Your commitment to excellence in education, strength of community, and preservation of history are an example to all. With you, I celebrate the rich history of Jermyn, and I look forward to an even brighter future. I am certain that you will continue to thrive for years to come. As governor and on behalf of the citizens of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I am honored to congratulate Jermyn Borough on its 150th anniversary. Please expect my best wishes for a memorable celebration and continued success. Signed, Governor Tom Wolf. Thank you.
And one quick note before you step up again. I forgot to mention in my speech when he mentioned the Windsor Inn. I thought it's in my notes. We had two hotels built here in 1866, the Pizer Hotel and the Farmers Hotel, which is the Windsor. It was 3 stories high and was a beautiful hotel on the corner. It was built in 1866, still here.
Where the first meeting was held too.
What's that?
First meeting was held for first aid.
First
First
aid.
aid meetings were held in the Windsor as well, yeah. In the Blue Room, it was called the Blue Room.
Did they have wings?
No, not then.
The blue room.
It came in Buffalo.
All right, I'll be the last person standing between you and cake tonight. I'll fall on that sword. That's fine by me. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. This is a really special, momentous occasion to a lot of us. Even those that couldn't be here, I know that they know the impact of 150 years. But I'd just like to take a couple moments to thank some people. First of all, I'd like to thank all of our distinguished guests tonight. President Kulik and Mayor Fuga, you guys have really been instrumental, as well as all of council and all of the community leaders to not only the preservation of the history of town, but also your attempt to move the town forward, and it's very appreciated by the 2200. Mayor Smallacombe, who also served as county commissioner for a brief stint, and he was the mayor here for quite a while, 16 years. So he knows
16 years and 6 months.
he knows public service firsthand, and he stepped up to be the chair of the Sesquicentennial Committee. We call it Jermyn 150 because I don't know how many people can pronounce Sesquicentennial. Representative Kazarowski, we're very, very honored to have you here tonight. As honored as we are to have you here is as much as we miss Sid Michaels-Kavulich, and Sid was very instrumental in helping us get to where we are today as well. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention him as well. But he has very capable hands filling his shoes. I could tell that. Senator Blake, you're always a few minutes late, but we love you.
I was judicious in not saying the word sesquicentennial. Can't get it out.
And I think you have the shortest to travel out of everyone.
Maybe you stop at the Windsor
We're very delighted also to have Chris Kapp here with us tonight from the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs. Like Chris said, they represent over 900 boroughs, and for them to come to the smallest self-sustaining borough in Lackawanna County, it's an honor. It's an honor. And Tom Caffrey, the director of the Northeast Regional Office of Governor Wolf, even though Governor Wolf couldn't be here tonight, we're very proud of the representation that he sent, and thank you very much. Again, thank you all for coming. And when I said earlier about the county commissioners that couldn't be here tonight, and I wrote each commissioner a letter, and I wrote Representative Kazarowski a letter, and I wrote Senator Blake a letter. When I say I wrote everybody a letter, I mean it. I wrote everybody a letter. And we were really happy with the way that things were shaping up for tonight. We were really pleased. We knew that we would be able to probably handle everything inside council chambers and not have to cancel basketball practices, but we were pleased. We were content. We knew that things were going to be good for this. Really, what it is an opening kickoff ceremony for our 150th birthday. We want to celebrate all year long. We were content until Chief Arthur came into my office this morning, and he brought the mail. And there was an envelope that said, Mr. Daniel Markey, 440 Jefferson Avenue, Jermyn, Pennsylvania, 18433. The return address was the White House, Washington, D.C. 20502. And I opened the mail. And I sent everybody a letter. The White House, Washington, January 1st, 2020. I send my greetings to those celebrating the 150th anniversary of Jermyn, Pennsylvania. For 150 years, Jermyn has contributed to the unique American story of freedom and democracy. I am grateful to your community's enduring spirit, which strengthens our nation, honors our past, and ensures the promise of American greatness for future generations. Melania joins me in sending our best wishes for a joyous celebration. Donald J. Trump. So,
Now you're getting like me.
she told me to hold it up. So my demeanor changed from content to thrilled. And you know, no matter anyone's politics, I think that we can all agree in a small town like Jermyn, politics usually don't matter here because we are here with the same common goal. A lot of times we disagree on how we get to those goals, But in a small town like Jermyn, Pennsylvania, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent or a Green Party or whatever. It doesn't matter. We're here because of all of our history. We're here because of who we are in the present. And we're here for these kids. The kids in the back, look at them waving their hands. They're the future. They're going to take these seats someday. They're going to move Jermyn towards the bicentennial. And a lot of us won't be here, but they will. And hopefully they'll remember this day and how much we cherish each other as a community, how much we hold on to our past as we look towards our future. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. We are very, very grateful and honored to celebrate Jermyn's 150th birthday with all of you. And now, over in the Legion Room, let there be cake. Thank you very much.
Okay.
That's delicious.
I'm glad you like it.
Very good.